Hello, my name is Melissa Flores, and I am a counselor at the Glenn Biggs Institute for Alzheimer's and Neurodegenerative Diseases at UT Health San Antonio. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about relaxation techniques and strategies in order to combat stress and anxiety. So we'll go through a few of these exercises together, as well as handouts that we'll provide on our website. We'll go into further detail and provide guidance on how to do these exercises on your own time or in your own space. So the first relaxation strategy that we're going to talk about is deep breathing. And so we all know how to take breaths naturally, normally, but in times of stress, our body actually changes our way of breathing. And so we can have very short, quick, rapid breath, and that's kind of counterintuitive to feeling in a relaxed state. So the breathing that you're aiming for would be something very slow and relaxed. And so there are some guided deep breathing exercises to help you make sure that you're taking those deep, full breaths. So to get started, as I mentioned, just find a comfortable space. It can be helpful to close your eyes, sort of take a second to focus on, how you're feeling physically and your breathing. As you start, I want you to take a deep breath in for 5 seconds. So I'll count that out for you. On our next breath in and out, we'll count in 5, hold it for 5, and breathe out deeply. So it's going to look like this. So together we'll breathe in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you breathe out, you want to push all of the air out of your lungs. You can even make a sound, an ah sound, to really push all of that air out. So again, it's important that we breathe in deeply, hold it in deeply, and push out everything that we have in there to really sort of reset our lungs and reset our minds. So again, we'll do that again, and breathing in for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Holding for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And breathing out audibly for 5 if you can. 3, 2, 1. Great. And so that can be modified. If you find that you can't hold in or breathe in for 5 seconds, that's okay. You can always do 2 or 3 seconds, but you definitely want to make sure that these are deep, solid breaths, not, rapid, quick breathing as we've seen happens with stress. Our next exercise is called the progressive muscle relaxation. And so this activity is really helpful for focusing on the stiff and tightened muscles in our body that, as I mentioned earlier, happen as a result of different stressors. And so this can be much more physical and really help with some of those physical symptoms, which can then reset some of the emotional feelings as well. So if you're feeling really tense and stiff, you're probably not feeling very good emotionally. You might be more irritable or on edge. But if we can sort of relax the body, we can relax the mind and make things a bit easier to handle. So this will be the last exercise that we practice here in this video, but there will be additional exercises on the worksheets that I provide on the website and different ideas for exercises and techniques that can be done to combat stress, such as imagery, going through a situation in your mind, a positive situation to really bring back some of those positive feelings and emotions, as well as a 5 senses activity. This is really helpful for helping us refocus on the here and now and not thinking too much about the future. But as far as this progressive muscle relaxation, as I mentioned, this is really helpful for resetting our bodies physically. So to begin, I'll guide you through this exercise. I ask that you close your eyes in order to feel a bit more comfortable. You can listen to my voice as I guide you through this exercise. So you'll want to begin by finding a comfortable seated position, or you can be laying down. This is a bit harder to do standing up, so I think it's better to either be sitting or laying. But you want to get into a comfortable position and really start by focusing on your deep breaths. So I'd ask you now to close your eyes and focus on breathing in deeply, holding, and breathing out. Do that a couple of times to get set. Holding in and breathing out. So as your feet are flat on the floor, I'll ask you to focus in on your toes. So I want you to tighten in your toes and your feet muscles as tight as you can and hold them for a few seconds in that tightened muscle position. Now I'll ask you to gently release your toes and feet, moving them gently to relieve all of that stress and tension that are in those muscles. We'll work our way up to the calves, and I want you to tighten those calf muscles as tight as you can, really focusing on making them very tense and tight. Holding it for a few seconds and then releasing those muscles. You can wiggle your legs around, your ankles if that helps make them feel a bit looser. But really focus on releasing all of that tension out of that area of your body. I'll have you move your way up to your thighs. Just using your leg muscles, tighten those thigh muscles as tight as you can. And we want to make them very tense and tight, holding them for a few seconds. And then releasing all of those muscles and imagine that stress and that tension just flowing out of your legs as you release those muscles. We'll take a second to go back to our breathing. And we'll move towards our stomach. So I want you to tighten all of those stomach muscles as tight as you can. Really bringing those muscles in, those ab muscles, making them very tight. Holding it for a few more seconds. And then letting go with a big, deep breath out. Those muscles should feel very loose and relaxed now at this point. We'll move towards our hands as we move up our body, making your hands into tight fists, as tight as you can. Really focusing on all the tension and stress in our hands, holding it for a few seconds, and then letting go. Open up your palms, wiggle your fingers, really feel all of that stress and tension move out of the hands. We'll move up our arms to our bicep muscles. Tighten all of your arm muscles as tight as you can, bringing in those muscles really tight, holding it for a few seconds, and then letting go. It might help to drop your arms by your side, kind of move them around, but feel all of that tension moving out of our bodies, out of our arms. We'll move next to our shoulders. We'll bring those up as high as we can and as tight as we can to our ears, really making this area of our body which carries a lot of our stress very tight, make it very tense. Holding it for a few seconds and then letting go. So it might be helpful at this point to wiggle our shoulders, to move our neck, but really feel all of that tension moving out of our body. We'll move on last to our face. Our face can actually carry a lot of tension as well, especially in our areas of our eyebrows and our jaws. So we'll scrunch up our face as tight as we can, especially in that eyebrow area, and really clench your jaw if you can without it hurting. And hold a lot of that tension in your face for a few seconds and then let it go. You can help this along by moving your eyebrows around, moving your jaw. Really just feel all of the tension sort of slip away from your face. We'll take a few deep breaths to end. If there are particular areas of tension that you still feel very strongly, try by moving, that body part around, trying to tense up those muscles and release them again. Continue to work on that area if you need to. But we'll focus on our last few breaths here. And whenever you're ready, gently open your eyes, move your body around, shake your arms out, and hopefully you should feel less tension in your body. This activity may take some practice and may take some different times using it over a couple of days or practices, but eventually it should be really helpful in reducing some of the physical tension that we feel in our bodies.